Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the January 6th, 2026 planning board meeting. It'll be hybrid today. We will do a roll call vote. Alan Bogosian,
Alan Bogosian here.
Andrew Boardman,
Here.
Abby Flanagan,
Here.
Pat Nelson,
Here.
and myself, Rob Almeida here. So move on to the first item of the agenda. It's a 7 p.m. item. Definitive subdivision public hearing in accordance with provisions of Mass General Law, Chapter 41, Section 81T, and the Town of Concord subdivision rules and regulations to review the definitive plan application of 874 Barrett's Mill Road LLC for improvement of a new roadway and for the creation of 4 new building lots at 874 Barrett's Mill Road, parcel 1994. So this will be continued without discussion to the January 20th, 2026 meeting at 7:05 p.m. And I make such a motion.
Second.
All right, again, we'll do a roll call vote. Al Bogosian,
In favor, yes.
Abby Flanagan,
Aye.
Pat Nelson,
Aye.
Andrew Boardman,
Yes.
and Rob Almeida, yes. Okay, moving on to administrative business. The first item is public comment. Public comment is limited up to 15 minutes with no more than 3 minutes allocated to any one speaker. Public comment is limited to items that are not on the agenda for this evening. In the room, we don't have anyone, and let's see if we have anyone online.
Carol.
Yep, so I don't think we can move on to item number 2 of our let's see for a minute. Hello.
Sorry.
All right, well, it's like that Sue Felshin has arrived. So moving on to administrative business, item number 2, potential 2026 annual town meeting zoning bylaw amendments for more discussions.
So at this point, there's 7 potential warrant articles that the board is discussing. They got sent out to everybody. I did get some comments back from Sue, and what I thought I would do is go through start with the easiest one. If it's okay, I will share my screen. So starting with, limited business 1, just for consistency, in just it's to determine whether the town will amend table. So that's just a consistency thing. I don't know where this number 6 appeared in front of table 3, but there shouldn't be a 6. There should be a period after there too. And I did double check because there was a question on the number of times building inspector appears 23 times and building inspector ' appears 3 times. So there it is in the bylaw
26 times. I could swear I searched for that, but it doesn't, nobody cares anyway.
So those are the final edits, and unless anybody has any other comments or that's the final draft.
Great.
Just for procedural wise, at your meeting on the 20th, all of the final drafts will be presented to the board. At that point, the board can make any other additional amendments. And then at the meeting on January 20th, the board will actually need to vote to each article to move forward to be submitted on the warrant. The warrant closes Friday, February 23rd. So
January 23rd?
January 23rd, January 23rd, sorry. So that's, then after, January 23rd, you have only 2 meetings before the public hearing, so at both meetings in February, it will kind of really be, hardcore going through your, public presentations. So Christine and I have already started trying to pull together rough drafts. It would be helpful, tonight. I know Greg's, not here. But it would be helpful to have board members actually decide who's gonna take. Which article to present for the public hearing. And what we will do is Christina and I will pull together first rough drafts of the presentations, send it to those particular board members. Get your, first input and feedback, and then go from there. So that's just to tee it up, so. Okay, so that was the first one, and if you don't mind, I'm just gonna save these as we go along. Okay, and then the next one is, let me see. So for, building inspector, I think there was just one minor edit punctuation, and then I did confirm there's 26 different pieces, but. So that would also be the final. We'll drop to that one unless anybody has anything else to add.
No.
The next one we have is MBTA communities bylaw. Again, Sue provided just a couple of formatting consistency for the bylaw itself. I can tell you that between now and the 20th, this section 7.11.7, all of these go to town council and the town moderator. The town moderator came back with a little bit of a confusion on 7.11.7 and the format. So what I explained to her is that under the state guidelines, the town cannot require a special permit for work in the floodplain for a multifamily project in the MBTA communities district. But we can require procedurally as part of the site plan review that they meet all of the requirements under 7.2 for the floodplain conservancy district. And that's why this language needs to be added that says, while the zoning bylaw says you need a special permit for this section, you don't, but under your application for site plan review under MBTA communities, you do need to meet all the procedures and the criteria for granting of the special permit as part of the site plan review for this section. And this is the one section it's listing. So format wise, I'm not sure if that was enough to clarify it for her, but so this is still kind of a work in progress between now and the 20th. And then
One little, can you remove vote 2 in the first one?
oh yeah, sorry. And then thank you, Sue. I do like that, that new opening paragraph to kind of set the stage. I think that was incredibly, yeah, incredibly helpful. And I think there were just a couple other minor, just edits, punctuation corrections and edits. So that was all for this amendment. Okay. Next. Wireless bylaw. And I don't. Um, I don't know, see if there was. Oh, yeah, no, this is the one, okay. I don't think you had any actual comments that we.
Well,
didn't
can you
address.
remove vote two
Yes.
again in the first sentence?
I'll be happy to, I was just looking for, see. I don't, yeah, I think most everything was just.
Well,
Quite
I
a
had
bit
a-
of punctuation.
It was, except that I had a broader comment of the explanation is very long and quite lawyerly, and we can keep it as is. But we
Yes.
could also, I think, remove like the half of it. Either in whole chunks or by simplifying, on grounds that it's too deep in the weeds, but this is, it's not. This is our choice, what we think is right. It's not obvious it has to be one way or the other.
So again, for this town meeting. The warrant without explanations will be printed in the Concord Bridge. And then, warrants, articles with explanations will be posted online and then printed in the briefing book. So, for this one, I think, having it in the explanation, be more wordy, and then the actual presentation. Not go into this kind of detail might be a simpler approach. Because for the presentation itself, it's really. The select board and the town, what's the problem you're trying to solve? Town knows that there's significant cell coverage issues and concerns. The select board and the planning board at town meeting last year both committed to looking at this. And from that perspective, as well as meeting, requirements of, federal law and the courts. And the existing bylaws being deleted in its entirety, and a new bylaw is being. Here are some of the key elements in, the change, but there's gonna be no way that you can sit there and explain. The whole bylaw, like all the definitions, and so. I think the actual presentation is gonna be pretty short. There may be. As everybody thinks about questions that may come up. May have a lot of backup slides, similar to what Linda did with MBT Unity. But I see. Many of the questions probably being answered by town council directly. And so I don't see it as being a complicated presentation. It is it's a, can be much more complicated depending on how far you get in the weeds, but there's certain things like anything dealing with, RF and emissions is not within the purview of the town and the board, so.
I guess I was looking at it from a different perspective. What about the person who either just moved into town or somehow missed the last few years and doesn't realize what's going on? And they
But wouldn't that be-
read this. We've got a first paragraph that says, well, we promised we'd look at this. There are changes in federal law and we want to reduce barriers to entry by wireless communications carriers, given the need for increased cell service. That's not bad, but everything else is in the weeds. I wonder if maybe it would be worth saying a little bit more in that first paragraph. But again, this is late it's already January 6th, and if we think that we should just leave it the way it is, that would be okay.
Personally, I think it'd be a lot of it will be handled during the presentation, will be the entry included presentation or at a town meeting will be.
Mind having the weeds there. That if, so we can reference and wade into
Yeah.
them as needed, because I think part of what's gonna be important to explain to people is that. There's a mandate from the community and the select board, and things like that, there's also federal law. And we're blending these two things together, and so like these are kind of the two masters that we're serving here. And so having that detailed explanation of what is really very dense. I think in some ways, just having it there like that is helpful to illustrate that like this is complex for the following.
And people
reasons.
really thought about
And
it.
people, yeah, there's a
I think there's a lot.
there's a lot behind this. It isn't just like, I'd like to be able to make a phone call in the center of town. It's like, yes, and this is also this very complex system that we have to integrate this into. And this is why we've made the decision to move in this way.
Well, you make a good point. Do you think that the introductory paragraph is enough to introduce the person who hasn't had trouble with?
I
making
do, because
calls
it's gonna
and-
happen in concert with our presentation. And then
Okay.
I think we're okay on this, because this is a very dense.
Yeah.
No one's gonna get it just from looking at this.
Okay.
You're gonna need both of those things
Okay.
regardless.
All right,
Yeah, is my feeling on it.
okay.
Sounds good on it.
So, am I okay to start on this, Elizabeth?
Yep, go right ahead.
Okay. So we did get some good edits from Sue on this. Oh yeah, that's one. But if you scroll down a little bit, there were three items really that I think the board needed to discuss a little more. One of them being this definition of foot candle, which Sue left a comment regarding. And once we get through the comments, I can pull up another document I have with some alternative definitions for this. This definition was taken from Wellesley's outdoor lighting bylaw because it was a little simpler than the initial definition that I had included that was from the Dark Sky, Massachusetts. But Dark Sky International has a different definition that might be better. And so Then the other comment was down towards, keep going.
I'm getting
Yep.
it. I'm touchpad challenged.
Um, so this comment regarding the average illumination on the ground, Sue raised the good point of what exactly are we averaging? And um, this was taken a combination of different communities, but there was no clarity on exactly what they were counting as average in their bylaws. So a possible suggestion change that we can discuss would be provided the illumination on the ground at any point is not greater than 2-foot candles. Um, just a possible suggestion for us to discuss. And then there was one last comment at the bottom. Oh, and this was just some rephrasing in here, and if we wanted to mention the natural habitats as well, and not just view of the night sky, but also natural habitats.
If you want to bring up your foot candle,
Sure. Okay, so this definition at the top, this was the one from Wellesley that's currently in this draft. This definition here, the measurement of light intensity, is what I had initially included in the memo, and it seemed overly complicated from Dark Sky Mass. This is what Dark Sky International uses in some of their documents that I was looking at, so I was wondering if maybe this was a better definition. If there was a preference to anyone or none.
Well,
Can someone read it?
and just as a point of reference, Christine,
Yeah.
there's nothing in the NFPA, which is the National Fire Protection Association, our Bible for
Okay.
electricians. There's a whole section of definitions,
And
but
there's nothing.
there's nothing under foot candle. There's definitions under luminaires, which is industry standard,
Yeah.
and nothing under foot candles.
Okay.
Christine, can you make it a little larger?
Sure.
Thank you. There you go.
Oh, yeah, much better.
I mean, the current definition that's in there is fairly simple.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, the one in the middle of the screen that says 1-foot candle is defined as enough light to uniformly illuminate 1 square foot with 1 lumen is pretty simple.
Yeah, if you lop off the second.
Yeah, leave
Well,
off the
yeah,
second
right, yeah,
sentence
double-
and also the a measurement of light intensity
Yeah.
part, and just have that second sentence. It's a pretty short definition.
So saying just leave the definition as 1-foot
1
candle
foot.
is defined as enough light to uniformly illuminate 1 square foot with 1 lumen.
yeah,
That I like.
okay.
Right, and that's it's definitive, and that's it.
And it's
Yeah.
easier to follow.
Yes,
than
that-
one
that
which
makes
I just
sense.
found hard to tell what was being measured, and I like this one.
All right,
That's the one.
Okay.
then the next one,
And then
Pushed over
this
wide.
was the average illumination, which Sue raised the question of what are we talking about with that? And so then this was just a slightly revised sentence for that to take out the word average, basically.
And just say, provided the illumination is not greater.
Mhm.
well, provided the illumination on the ground at any point is not greater than 2-foot candle.
Oh, at any point, okay.
So,
Any location?
But wait a second, a foot candle is defined as relating to a square foot, so why would we say at any point?
Well, because because it's an average and it's a maximum.
Oh, if we were taking out the word average.
Yeah.
I don't really have a strong feeling about it. I just wanted to be clear what the language says.
Instead of any point, any location. The point can be interpreted as time.
Oh, that's a good point. Excuse me.
Wow, I told you, you're rubbing off on all of us. Okay,
So
yeah,
this is a silly question from a lighting layman. How bright is that? Not very.
not very.
Not very.
2 foot
People
candles?
suggested a half a foot candle, and that's really
Really
not
dark.
very.
Right.
So two.
I guess the question is how much is this an achievable standard from like a safety perspective? Like if you told the town the high school has to only be lit with this, would they be comfortable with it? Or would there be a lot of pushback saying like we can't light sidewalks like this because it's too dark, but you're telling
Or-
private residents to do it? And that's just a practical question.
Right.
Because this strikes me as like, anytime you go to one of anything, I know that's not.
Would it not be the problem that it's too dark, but that if it has to be that dark, it has to be only 2 foot candles over here, it's too hard to have a luminaire that does that over here and isn't brighter over there. I don't know, because I am also not a lighting expert.
Yeah. I
There-
don't know, are we going, is it
I-
too?
I'd let Alan talk.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
There are code requirements for, in residences and hotels and buildings, you have to maintain a certain number of foot candles. And that would be like 10-foot candles in a hallway or in an attic, when you walk into it. So those are,
That's outside though. I don't think there's any, I mean, that's inside.
There's no
I don't-
building code.
there's
And
there's
this is
nothing
also-
outside. There's nothing outside.
I guess-
Five is the floor level.
And this is specific to low level lighting sufficient for security, but maybe in operation at any time. So this isn't like the building is open
Mhm.
Yeah,
and
this is
the
after.
business is open and we need this much light. This is like, these lights can be on at any given time.
Right.
Right.
So
Nobody's
when
there, the
nobody's
place is
there, it's
closed.
just.
Right, I guess my question, it sort of comes down to, I'm thinking of the example of like a walk-up ATM. Are you basically requiring the property to be pitch black?
No, because then it's
No.
open.
Yeah,
Because then it's open to customers.
yeah, it's
Got
open to
it.
customers.
So this is only when
This is, yes,
later than an hour after.
can be
closing.
in operation at any time.
Now, we
These lights
used to
can be
have
on.
something about like motion sensor lights, because what if it's after hours, but somebody walks
Right.
through the parking lot? I
That's in
don't,
there.
that's what, it's still
Yeah,
in there
there's
elsewhere.
something-
Okay,
yeah.
never mind.
I just wanted
Yeah.
to make sure we weren't
Yeah.
like
But-
overdoing it, but
No, but if the ATM is open, then they're,
What does Google say?
Google's saying 5 candles for hallways.
but that's
That's
indoors,
That's indoors.
that's different.
Outdoors, let me see.
Right.
Cause I got the shipyard stuff.
Google's right sometimes.
Uh, Every time it's with a word with the yard, it's always a shipyard. And
Well, what I can try to do is between now and the 20th. See if I can,
5 are covered. And 1 for uncovered.
cover what, walkways?
Parking lots. Gas canopies 12.5, safety, exterior building, exterior 1. So-
Well, what I'd suggest is leave it the way it is right now, and I will see if I can send this off to one of the lighting consultants that worked on the Cross Point project. And just say, any chance you can just give me your feedback on this? Well,
I'll bring a light meter to the next meeting too.
oh, that
That would
would be
actually be
great,
useful.
Yeah.
yeah.
Great.
All right. Anything else?
No?
Okay. Thank you.
The
Oh.
only thing is that last paragraph at the bottom, um, where does the board want to add natural habitats
Oh.
as well?
I don't see any reason not to.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. And I think that is it.
Okay. Give me 2 seconds. Protecting natural habitats. Next, we have mixed use. Uh, okay. Then, so I think I don't remember if you had comments. Oh, yes. Okay. Why a single communal space?
Make that one bigger too, please. Sorry.
Hmm. Is that,
That's nice. Yeah.
how's that? So why a single communal space? I don't know.
If any individual units are not afforded a private open space, no less than 25% of the minimum required open space must be allocated to a single communal space.
So the idea was that you couldn't do 6, like there's 12 units and it's 4 tiny little patches. It has to be.
Right, but then we should restrict the minimum size rather than saying it has to be a single one.
Well, at least
Yes.
one has, oh.
Because, I
Oh, I
mean,
see what you're saying.
there are very, very, very few opportunities in town where a substantial number of units could be put in, but in the unlikely event or the eventual event that one of those would actually get developed this way, maybe it could afford 2 decent-sized communal spaces.
Well, but the next sentence, if the communal space exceeds the open space minimum, the developer may opt to split the space into multiple usable spaces of not less than 150 square feet.
Well, in that case, I think it's rather unclear between the last 2 sentences what supersedes what. We say it must be allocated. And then we say they may split it. Maybe we should rephrase it as no less than 25% of the minimum required open space must be allocated to a single space communal space available to all residents unless the communal space exceeds the open space minimum, in which case the developer may opt to split. Then you can get rid of the if, yeah, then, okay, and then it would be clear what has precedence.
So you added something else, unless the communal space exceeds.
Open space minimum, in which case the developer may opt. So minimum, comma, in which case. That addresses my comment.
How many times have we all read this? So this should say shall meet the requirements of section 7.13 exterior lighting, which is your new bylaw. And I've already spoken to the town moderator, that bylaw, that warrant article will go first. And then this would be subsequent. If it does not pass, then it would go back to 7.7.3.11.
And you would change the motion on the.
Yes.
Yes, okay. Well, in my defense, I'm good at language, not numbers.
Well, in my defense, I need new glasses. So there was that one. And then again, just a lot of great edits. And I think that. I think that might.
Whoops, scroll up, there was a tiny change.
Well, yeah, that's just, I'm
Okay.
not going over formatting or typos. And, okay, and then we have. Instantly sounds like we're trying to make a strong man argument. Immediately goes a bit overboard.
I just thought we were making an overly unnecessarily strong statement and explanation.
So I do know that the economic feasibility analysis will be done within the next day or two, which will go out to the board. So there may be additional information that you want to put in there. So this explanation is still a little bit of a work in progress, but
Should just
I'm
put a pin
fine.
in that until we get the
Yeah.
feasibility and then
Yeah.
if we wanna tweak it.
Yeah,
Great.
that's what I would probably suggest.
Okay.
And then I think that's it.
Perfect.
Save joint parking for last, because Stu actually brought up quite a few comments and questions, so I don't.
None of which are about the sense of it, they're all just about pinning down, what does this mean?
Okay, so the first one is
Non-competing.
non-competing.
I don't know why we said non-competing, or, I mean, I don't know what we meant by non-competing, but I don't know why we even thought it was useful to say non-competing.
So the applicant may propose a reduction in off-street parking requirements based on an analysis hour by hour or a credible combination of hours of parking demand for, and I'm not sure why non-competing.
Well, but can't you just end it at parking demand?
Right,
You
exactly.
don't have to say for whatever reason, it's just if they can
Of parking.
give a credible reason why there's some combination of hour by hour analysis.
Yeah,
Who cares what the justification is? That's a good catch.
well, the justification is that there's enough parking, not
Exactly. Yeah,
anything
but,
else,
but
yeah.
whether or not businesses compete,
Right.
it's irrelevant. Yeah.
Okay, 600 feet measured from.
No, sorry, you missed the insertion of the word projected.
Where?
I mean, I guess that's not too important, but it wasn't clear to me whether that meant
Where?
actual current or
It's the
projected of a future use, but of course we
It's
mean
red.
projected of a future.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, no,
okay,
yeah,
All
I
right.
mean, some of this, for the clarifying words, I wasn't.
okay, all right.
I wasn't gonna go through each
Okay,
one of these.
sure.
I agree.
All right,
So the next one dealt with the distance, you measured from what point? Measured from the subject building. And or uses to the parking space that serve them. I'm not quite sure what the,
is there a standard way if with language like this where the building commissioner would say, well, this is the point I measure from? Or is it not clear and we need to pin it down in this article? Is it the nearest point of the building or the nearest open
It's
door?
never been that
Specific?
specific.
Well, if it's our standard to not be that specific and let and let the controlling authority say what it means, I'm okay with that. But I did notice that it's not that specific, that's all.
So the question is, you know, should it be specific? Is it? I think it becomes challenging to be very specific because there's so many different configurations or variables. You can't say from one door to another door.
Well, I
'cause
yeah,
doors
I
are
think about like Fritz and Gigi's building
Yeah,
with having, like, is it from the driveway? Is it from, there's one back door, there's two front doors, is it the center of the building?
Exactly, and if it's standard throughout the bylaw to let the controlling authority decide exactly what it means, then we can do the exact same thing here. But just in reading it, I noticed that it didn't specify.
Yeah.
And so I brought it up, that's all. We don't have to change this one.
so I think if you put it in context in the community, in a space. You know, joint parking spaces for the uses, what, um. 310 Baker Ave,
Mm-hmm.
you know, the joint parking spaces. For all of those uses, it's 600 feet from those spaces to one point in the building, but it's definitely not 600 feet to the backside of any of those buildings. So I think that the building commissioner has just evaluated things on a case by case basis. But in general, there's really not that many really big properties
It's true, yeah,
where, you know, this,
Would come into
where
play.
that's gonna
Yeah.
come into play.
it's true.
And I do know historically when there's like for off-site parking, it's been, 600 feet from the parking spaces that are off-site to the property and the building, and it's not to like the door or anything
It's
like
just
that.
properly.
And that's gonna come up in a later comment here. Okay, we can leave this one.
So if you make it bigger, I just don't have my intermediate distance glasses today.
Is that good?
Yeah. I'm just having trouble following it on my phone and knowing where you are.
Just not one online, we will get to those who raise their hands in a minute, that we've gone through this article.
Oh, yeah, that's better. Oh, there you go.
I'm like,
That's problem solved.
because I think we're gonna
Harder
need to
to-
reduce it a little to show the comments, but
Yeah.
now it'll be all right.
Okay.
For those wondering at home what just happened, Elizabeth pulled the TV forward like 6 feet. It was really quick.
There's nobody in the audience, so nobody else
No.
needs to see it.
Yeah.
Okay, is that good?
Yeah, thank you very much, Elizabeth.
And, okay, so here again is the non-competing use comment.
And could we just strike common non-competing, or could we rephrase it as data for non-competing parking demand? Because we do in fact want the parking demand to not compete,
Yeah,
but the uses can compete all they like.
so, I agree. This. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't think there's any reason to have common non-competing uses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if people care which of those two alternatives to phrase it by that I suggested. I don't care which one.
So parking demand data by uses shall be documented based on a joint parking demand hour by hour worksheet.
We get rid of uses, it's like if you change it to use.
Yeah, parking demand data by use shall be documented based on a joint parking demand
That's-
hour
that's
by hour
valid.
worksheet.
Yes, although I did notice that earlier we said hour by hour or creditable combination, and here we don't say or creditable combination. And I don't know if that's an issue or if everybody will realize that we mean or creditable combination.
I think as it reads here, it's hour by hour worksheet. If you want it to be something different, it should say that. Or if you want, if we would allow something different, it should say that.
We could say hour by hour, open parens, or creditable combination, close paren, worksheet. It's a little awkward, but people would get it.
All right.
I'll have to think about that one. Okay. Sorry, I wasn't ready for that. So you get rid of the non-competing comment because we resolved. So I'm gonna leave that one. Think about that one. The credible.
Means,
I think it's just use.
Use.
Yeah.
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 We do use land use in the zoning bylaw to only in a very general way, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just use.
Should it be based on the use or based on the uses?
I'm gonna say uses.
Yeah.
And
And throughout this, it should be, for the most part, uses, not paren, because you're talking about joint parking.
Joint
So there's
parking.
gonna be more than one use,
yeah,
always.
yeah,
I made that cheap
oh,
as
nice,
well.
yeah.
Um,
So in this one, you should get rid of, you should change land use to use. Plus, I had a comment on what are the sum totals? Aren't they just the totals or the sums?
wait. I'll be equal to largest, yeah. I think it would be use totals. Oh. Is that hour by hour incredible?
That's the same comment as the
Mm.
preceding one, so whatever we do for the one, we do for this. This is the case of a modified joint parking agreement, so we should say who approves or oversees it.
Well, the building commissioner. So no change in any use shall thereafter be permitted without review and approval by the building commissioner and further documentation. That the parking will remain adequate following occupancy of the new uses and receipt of an executed joint parking agreement by all parties.
Okay, but it says without review and approval by the building commissioner, so that means the parties get to just.
No, so
No,
no
no
change shall be.
Well, without
without.
review. I mean, you can change without, with, unpermitted.
I guess-
Unless reviewed and approved.
I guess the point is that it says by all.
This is saying no change in use is permitted without review and approval by the building commissioner.
You can say.
And receive an executed joint parking agreement.
Okay, so the building commissioner doesn't review, isn't a party to the joint parking
No,
agreement,
but
but
you-
does get to approve it. Okay, I withdraw my comment, it's okay as it's.
So. Not sure I understand. So not every change in use requires. A permit or occupancy or anything. So you can have. Somebody may have a retail store and come in and change it to. A bank, and all they get is. No structural changes. They may get an electrical permit to run new conduit. And a tenant fit up. May not require any type of building permit.
Okay, in that case, I see point, this is actually correct, and I withdraw my comment.
I do believe the building commissioner is looking at. Possibly. Specifically because that they've run into issues with there being a change of use and they don't get any type of building permit. That he is looking at possibility of starting a certificate of compliance. So it's not really occupancy because that's only done once. You get a certificate of occupancy once, but a certificate of compliance because a different use. The fire department may have different requirements. Or also they've had change of use and somebody goes in there and they find out it's like, oh, the fire alarms don't work. And the exit signs are not lit properly or so that is
Might
something.
just be a different business license too.
If we had such a thing, then we ought to say prior to issuance of the certificate of compliance or occupancy, but we don't have that thing yet. And unless and until we do, makes no sense to insert anything here, we should leave.
I'll ask him where he is in that and
Sure.
get his comments.
Oh, so it should be uses with no parens.
Yeah, I'll go through and delete that.
And the measured from, again, it's clear. Or rather, it's sufficiently clear what measured from means, so you can remove that comment as well.
This one?
I'm fine with the change in Z. Anybody else?
Now, obviously, we tweak the wording. It does the exact same thing as last year's article. It's just that we've
It's not. the
tightened
same.
up some of the verbiage, so. we could say makes the same change to joint parking, but it's not literally the same amendment.
Is comparable.
Or
Substantially similar.
Mm.
It's maybe a lawyer though.
that's fine.
Yes, substantially,
Is substantially similar to.
Yeah.
So
yeah, get rid of and say substantially
is substantially similar to the amendment.
to the, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then the next thing was just some trivial tweak to clarity,
Okay,
ditto.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, Elizabeth. And then more tweaks to,
Okay. It's
What is
not
that one?
the first,
who's parking, okay, yeah.
which one am I on now? It's not the first set of uses. That party jointly by the second set of uses. I don't know where we are.
What did that comment on? How many comments?
This one.
Oh, that was over whose parking is,
Oh,
and that was,
okay. Oh, okay, I'm fine with
Yeah.
that too.
it was just clarity of wording, yeah. And also we should change land uses there to uses, because we don't use the term land uses in this way.
Okay,
And then I added a return, which I think is pretty straightforward.
and that's it. Anything else? Okay.
No,
Um,
we have one person, they were hand raised.
all right, wait, let
Sorry.
me save this first.
Yes, please.
Yes.
So-
Look there on the right.
Thank you for patiently waiting. Savoy, you have your hand raised?
Yes, thank you. Sorry, I didn't hear you. I have a public comment I'd like to make about the special permit waiver provision in the mixed use bylaw. My comment is the language voters previously approved already allows flexibility for affordable housing, but it did so with safeguards. The new language removes several of those safeguards and replaces them with vague standards that may lead to unintended consequences. First, the new language eliminates the requirement that projects not be detrimental to the neighborhood. That finding mattered. It helped protect abutters, streets, parking, trees, stormwater, and neighborhood character. Under the new language, the board could waive open space parking and height without even making that finding. Second, the language allows developers to substitute off-site publicly accessible open space for required on-site open space. As written, this could allow a project to develop more of a site while pointing to nearby public land it did not create or maintain, shifting environmental and infrastructure impacts onto the community. Third, the new language allows multiple waivers at once: reduced open space, increased height, and reduced parking, based on undefined justification with no clear standards or limits. Fourth, the height increase to 40 feet is no longer conditional. It is framed as a benefit without requiring proof that impervious surface is actually reduced and without measurable or enforceable standards. Taken together, this is not a minor clarification. It is a substantive change that weakens voter approved protections. If the town wants to support affordable housing, that flexibility should be targeted, measurable, and enforceable, and not vague or discretionary. For that reason, I respectfully urge the board not to move forward with the language as written, but instead consider the following clarifying replacement language, which preserves flexibility while restoring safeguards and giving the board clearer and more defensible standards. On 4.2.3.7, it reads, except in limited business number 2 in a mixed-use building where more than 20% of the dwelling units are available as affordable housing, the board may grant a special permit to allow, and this is where the replacement language I'm suggesting may be inserted, to allow a limited reduction in required open space, an increase in building height up to 40 feet, and a reduction in parking, only if the board finds based on substantial evidence that 1, the development is in harmony with the general purpose and intent of this section. 2, the development will not be detrimental or injurious to the neighborhood, including but not limited to impacts on traffic, parking, stormwater, trees, and neighborhood character. 3, any reduction to open space is offset by high quality, permanently protected on-site open space, and off-site public open space shall not be used as a substitute. 4, any increase in building height results in a demonstrable and enforceable reduction in impervious coverage on the project site. And 5, any reduction in parking is supported by a site-specific parking analysis demonstrating no adverse impacts to surrounding streets or neighborhoods. The board shall make written findings documenting compliance with each of the above criteria. We can support affordable housing without giving away open space, parking, and neighborhood projections. I appreciate the board's consideration of these refinements. And I'd be happy to send this over to you so you have it in writing if you'd like to look at it further.
Would that be great? And thank you for your comments.
You're welcome. I'll send it over. Thank you.
Good.
So that's all we had.
All right. Should we discuss who's doing which presentations, or should we wait? Let's get it over with.
Sooner's better.
Yes, I think so. I don't want to volunteer for any.
I'll do the joint parking. I don't mind. I know it's gonna be painful, but. If it,
Okay.
Alan? Could I volunteer you for exterior lighting? Is it be either you or me? I don't think that's fair.
You could do exterior.
I'll take it. I'll take it.
Alan should do it, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Give it to him, yeah, exactly.
Only if I can bring my little light meter.
Yep,
Yeah, I would bring it.
props are great.
Yeah, sure.
well, that's why when someone says that's too bright, we're like 6 in here. And
It's not the party.
So usually we give a pass to the newer members.
Yep.
So. I
I'm
would-
still a newer member.
You're still a newer member.
The two that I think that are probably the easiest are gonna be the business district 1 height change and the building inspector's commissioner.
You want building inspector?
I'll take building
Okay.
inspector
Yes.
position, yeah.
I think that's going to go on the consent calendar.
And
So.
I can do anything, so just let me know.
And I can, well, I don't wanna do wireless, but I can do anything else. I mean, I'm happy to do mixed use. I brought forward building height, but I'm kind of hoping that'll end up on the consent calendar. I wouldn't mind doing both though. But if people would like me to do a different one instead, I'll take any.
wireless,
Sure.
okay. Wireless. You want MBTA? Okay. And then Sue gets LB one.
The height, right? Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot to mention on the topic of LB1, height maximum, I took this to the Economic Vitality Committee because they care about, I mean, this slightly increases, the possibilities for commercial tax base. And everybody was fine with it. There was a comment about, well, why only 35 feet? Wouldn't it be better to set it to be 45 feet? Because that, there would be some advantages to that. But on the other hand, if we were gonna do it there, wouldn't we wanna also think about
Yeah,
other
that's
places?
a broader.
It's
Yeah,
a broader
yeah,
question,
like
exactly.
appreciate the
So,
comment.
yeah,
This is selling parity across the town,
Exactly.
not
so
selling height.
the comment
Yeah,
was not unreasonable, but I don't think that that is a good thing to do at this time.
So that does leave mixed use,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah.
don't want to give that to Greg.
Yeah,
Well, I thought I said I was happy to do mixed use.
why don't we give LB1 to Greg? Since he's not here.
Oh, okay,
And then
Yeah.
but I could also do both if,
I-
because LB1's gonna be a,
It's up to you,
Okay.
but I just think
It's good for everybody to practice doing
Right.
it.
It's
So
true,
give
too.
him-
It's good when you get two clarifying questions and then you can sit there.
Even just going through the process.
that's a very
Getting
good
up
point,
there, yeah.
Andrew,
Yeah.
yes, let's give it to Greg, everybody should get,
And
a nice
I mean,
practice.
that one probably is the other one that may go on the consent calendar, may not, right?
Right,
So, and at least he'll go through the process up until.
Yeah.
the hearing and all,
Yeah,
yeah,
the hearing will be telling of whether people care or not.
Yes.
Yeah.
So.
yeah.
Great.
Thank you, everybody.
Awesome, thank you.
Okay.
And then left you have.
We have liaison. Town plan updates.
Updates.
Well, first, CPC was moved from tonight to next week, so the NRC would have a chance to have their meeting and get together answers for questions related to their application to start a conservation fund. And then other than that, CPC moves forward. We're having
Land use working group, we'll have a meeting tomorrow for one of the subgroups and then. I don't know when we're gonna meet as a group, as a whole yet again, probably the next week or two.
MCI Concord continues at work, but there wasn't really anything specific to report this time around.
I have nothing to report on.
Unless you have something on this.
Oh, go ahead, Alan.
I have nothing to report on West Concord Advisory.
So what I can tell you about West Concord Advisory Committee at their meeting on the next week, 14th. The new owners will be making a conceptual presentation for 166 Commonwealth Ave for the gas station. So that's moving forward. For MCI Concord, I actually think the advisory board is being dissolved. Because I'm not sure, but where they are at and what the select board's doing, but I can tell you what planning is doing, is the community development director, and I are pulling together a request for proposals to hire a consultant to do the master planning and the draft zoning. So I'm hopeful to get that out in the next couple of weeks and move through that process. And so for the planning board for next year, you will likely have one bylaw amendment that you'll be working on, and that will be MCI Concord.
And housekeeping.
And housekeeping, but that's it.
so much fun.
So, those are just two quick updates that I have.
I have nothing from Taff.
Alright. Let's move on to the last item, which is minutes from 10:20, sorry, apologize, Wendy, let's see.
No, just a quick clarification. So the MCI Advisory Committee hasn't been dissolved. We've asked them to just be on hold for a month until we hear back on the land use recommendations. So just a quick update.
Thank you. Okay, let's move on to the last item, which is minutes from 10:28 and 11:18. Does anyone have any comments on those minutes?
Make a motion that we approve the minutes for 10:28 and 11:18 as submitted.
Second.
Okay, noted. We'll do a roll call vote. Sue Felsham,
Aye.
Abby Flanagan,
Aye.
Pat Nelson,
Aye.
Andrew Boardman,
Yes.
Alan Bogosian,
Aye.
myself, Rob Almeida, yes. And with that, the meeting is adjourned.